We have Tae Kim, author of The NVIDIA Way, and a Barron's senior writer, joining the show. Tae Kim, the author of The NVIDIA Way.
Tae Kim on the beat.
For joining the show. And I'm sorry it took us so long. We've exchanged posts on X many times, and we wanted to have you on the show earlier, but I'm so glad
we got to ask right
when
away.
It did, because it's the perfect time to talk to you.
Do you have roommates?
Not.
No roommates.
No roommates.
Guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm so excited to be on this.
I'm so excited to have you here. Reminder, everyone, go buy the book. Seriously, Christmas is coming. I can't imagine a better gift for everyone.
A 10-year-old?
For a 4-year-old.
For even,
I know what my son's getting. He's getting The NVIDIA Way. Jensen Wong. Teach him
multiple
young.
copies.
Multiple copies. No,
too.
Seriously. Get 10 copies. Give them out to everyone.
A lot of teenagers have read it. Like,
yes.
It's amazing. And they reach out. And it's an inspirational, entrepreneurial book that a lot of parents are giving to their kids. So definitely.
I love your headset, by the way.
The headset's
because
elite.
we're actually developing our own TBPN
Locked in.
over-ear headset, because this is just like this is the ideal setup.
I was telling my friend, I don't care if I look like a dork. My hearing is going. So awesome. I get locked in when I have the headset. I can hear everything.
No, and it's wired. The worst is AirPods.
Yeah.
AirPods have a tiny lag. If you're doing Zoom calls, it ruins it. But we feel like you're right here at the table with us.
It's not code red over there. He's Baja blasting.
Yeah,
you know he's Baja blasting. Anyway, let's we have some time. Let's run through. I want to know a little bit more about your perception of Jensen, your perception of NVIDIA, and just set the table for us. We know what is his management style? How does he has all the direct reports. He reads everyone's to-do lists every day. They have tons of employees. They never fire people. Like, what makes NVIDIA's culture unique? Set the table for us so then we can go into the opportunities and challenges with that framework in mind.
So the first thing I found out about their culture is it's very blunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in most companies, and you guys have done startups, but I don't know if you work for large corporations, bureaucracy builds up, process, it gets ossified. NVIDIA is the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if things are not going well, he'll chew you out in front of the whole company.
Okay.
And that kind of blunt mentality, I think, sparks better performance, because you don't want to be embarrassed in front of Jensen, in front of the whole company.
Yeah.
But also, it just sparks an agility. Like, when I talk to people at Intel or Google, like, the biggest problem they have is meeting paralysis, and you need to get sign-offs from 5 different executives. At NVIDIA, you have a meeting, Jensen makes the call, he seeks out the right information, and you move. So there's this agility at NVIDIA. The other thing is just a meritocracy. Even from the beginning, 30 years ago, Jensen's always asking, who's the smartest person that you work with? Who should I try to recruit? And from the beginning, Dwight Dirks, who's one of the top people right now, he recruited him because he talked to this other guy, and he said, "Oh, Dwight's really smart. I really enjoyed working with him." And he just, almost ruthless in a sense, he just goes after him and recruits them, brings people aboard. So this meritocracy, agility, speed, and just getting rid of the internal politics, I think, really separates NVIDIA.
Mm-hmm.
How has most of the team becoming millionaires affected the culture, if at all?
I think they had that thing in the first 10, 15 years. People started getting sports cars and putting them in the parking lot. But a lot of people...
Cars, let's go. That's the best news I've ever heard. That's fantastic.
But
sounds like it's had an incredible impact on the culture.
Job's finished. Okay, you can. You don't need to respond. You don't need to say anything more.
I think winning culture breeds winning, and people want to stay with winners. Right?
Yeah, you want to win on the track then.
A lot of the people I meet in terms of colleagues, they work for a chip company for 5 years and the chip doesn't work out. Yeah. And you just wasted 5-7 years of your life. So you want to stay with a winning company, and NVIDIA's been winning for 30 years. So it's kind of like winning begets winning. You get the talent, and then the talent stays. There's so many top executives at NVIDIA that have stayed there for 25, 30 years.
And there's also there's some benefit of people when if somebody doesn't have a scarcity mindset, right, and they're just playing to win. Like they're just like they're no longer thinking like, oh, if we can just get to that next milestone and get this secondary sale, and if I can participate and if I can invest my 2 years and sell into the next tender offer, then I'll, they're just like, we're good. All that matters is just being as elite as we possibly can be, and just and doing it for the love of the game, basically.
And a lot of these people that they made it. They could retire. They could have retired 10, 20 years ago, but they stay and still work 80 hours, 100 hours a week because that's what's expected. Like even the marketing people at NVIDIA are working 80, 85 hours a week. Wow. And that kind of mentality, I think, is different at the companies.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's shift into the competitive dynamic. I mean, NVIDIA's been, I was revisiting the performance of the Mag 7 since the dawn of ChatGPT. It's been 3 years exactly. NVIDIA, by far the winner, up 10x on market cap. The next closest company, I think, maybe 4x by comparison. And so the clear AI winner in the public markets, the most obvious AI trade that just completely ripped. Now, there's this whole narrative of like, how strong is their moat? What does the TPU mean? Is the TPU going to be significantly competitive? Is there going to be margin compression? How have you been processing this new narrative that NVIDIA might face serious competitive threats because they're so on top of the world? Everyone owes them so much money that people are saying, I got to get a discount from somewhere, and I'll go to Google maybe.
I want to talk about this 10x move.
Please.
It hasn't been like straight up to the right. There's always been every 3-6 months. There's always a reason to sell NVIDIA.
Sure.
Like the H100 problem, the transition to Blackwell, China, ASIC, Broadcom competition. So this stuff has been happening. This entire 10x move up, and the media loves to latch on to the latest thing to worry about, right? Yeah. We had DeepSeek earlier this year. The entire media establishment was, it's over for the AI trade.
Yeah.
AI models have become so efficient when it was actually the opposite because the reasoning models, and there was an exponential demand for compute. Totally. So I find it amusing, like the whole world kind of discovered that Google had a really good chip in the TPU 2
which
weeks
they've
ago.
been working on for a decade too.
Yeah, they've had it for 10 years, right? They've offered it to clients in 2018. This is nothing new.
Yes.
The Ironwood specs, which I always take with a grain of salt with specs. Even in NVIDIA, they talk about 25x improvement with Blackwell when it's more like
I'm really just focused on the name. Ironwood goes pretty hard.
It's pretty good. They got some good names over there in Google.
Ironwood came out, all the specs came out in April. Yeah. Like this is not, all this stuff isn't new. Yeah. And another thing I want to say is TPUs, their chips, Morgan Stanley estimates there was a huge decline in TPU shipments in 2025. And Google, at Google Cloud, NVIDIA GPUs took more share than TPUs this year. It's like no one talks about this, right? And now everyone's going, Ironwood is going to take over the world, and NVIDIA's in trouble.
Is that just because we're
I think it was a Gemini 3.
Gen
it was a Gemini 3 thing. People are like, Gemini 3 is the best model in the world. Yeah. By the benchmarks.
Model in the world for a whopping 6 days, and ChatGPT is still #1 on the App Store. Let's
but I mean, it's 6 days. It was unseated by Claude, which was also Anthropic, which is also TPU potentially in the future.
Yes, right. And ChatGPT, Microsoft, the head of Microsoft AI Cloud, Scott Guthrie, that OpenAI is training their next models on the GB300 NVL72. That just went live in October. Actually, earlier today, the NVIDIA CFO said it's going to take 6 months. So I was a little disappointed in that.
Wait, 6 months for the training run?
Yeah. Well, she said the first models on Blackwell, like on these superclusters, are going to take 6 months. So it's going to take
the
time.
Singularity.
But
it's going to be another 6 months.
OpenAI is going to get there. The Claude and Gemini benchmark gains with pre-training.
Yep.
That's the most bullish thing for the whole AI industry, right?
Of course.
AI adoption is, the scaling laws are intact. Everything's going to work out, and OpenAI is going to get there when they build their next training run on the next model. So going back to TPUs, thank goodness, a shout out to SemiAnalysis. They do the best channel work in the industry. Everyone freaked out on Friday, right? They read that SemiAnalysis. Total cost of ownership.
TPU V7.
They're going to destroy it. But people that actually know the industry, it was flaming bullish for NVIDIA.
Yes.
Like it was like so obvious in my face because Dylan and the Semi Analysis, they said, wait a minute, the next TPU V8 is not going to be that great. They lost a ton of people, and the step function up in performance is not going to be that great. So you know what's going to be great? NVIDIA's Vera Rubin, which comes out at the end of next year. So no company is
People
going
are saying it's the Rick Rubin of chips.
Are they related? Yes.
So anyway, so Vera Rubin is going to be dramatically better at the end of next year.
Yeah.
And even if the Ironwood, which just became generally available and they're ramping right now, it's no one's going to switch over for one. It's a huge endeavor to put workloads from CUDA NVIDIA GPUs and put them on. There's always problems when you put them on a new chip.
Yes.
And let's talk about TPU customers, right? Everyone freaked out that Meta might spend a few $1 billion in 2027. That sounds like a lot, right? That's less than 1% of NVIDIA's expected revenue.
Sure.
It's nothing. Yeah. And Ben Thompson was very smart and astute. He's like, who's going to buy the TPU? Who are the biggest buyers of AI chips?
Yep.
They're the hyperscalers, right?
Yep.
So maybe Meta will put a portion of their workloads, 1% of NVIDIA's revenue. Is Amazon going to buy TPUs?
Well, John just asked the CEO of AWS if he was going to buy TPUs. He dodged that question.
He didn't say yes.
I mean, there's no way in hell they're going to buy TPUs. They have their own Trainium. They're not going to support their number one, like one of the number one.
Their arch rival.
Yeah, they're not doing that. So is Microsoft going to buy TPUs?
You should have been like, yes, I'm going to buy one so I can like study it.
Microsoft's not going to buy TPUs. They're the number 2 player in cloud computing. Yes. And they're not. Are the neoclouds going to buy TPUs? Now you're going to say, yes, Google has some neoclouds. Yes. You know what happened with those neoclouds? They're financially backstopping those neoclouds. So Google is financially giving money and backstopping the debt for those neoclouds. So there's a handful of small neoclouds, but is CoreWeave going to buy TPUs? Probably not, right? Who are the other customers of AI chips? Enterprises, companies, sovereign AI.
Yeah, anybody that wants to run like a fine-tuned model, some small model, something like that.
Yeah, 90 to 95% of those would not buy. So, like, if you just go down on a first principles basis and look at the customers of AI chips, like, they're going to stick with NVIDIA. The millions of developers know CUDA, so you don't have to. You really need, like Dylan talked about this, is you really need like top-notch, like software sophisticated engineers that can like work with TPUs and learn jacks and all that stuff. So most people don't have those crackerjack engineers, right? So they're going to stick with NVIDIA because everyone's used to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is backwards compatible and forwards compatible. So like 20, 30 years of this stuff. And if you buy it, NVIDIA, Colette at the CFO talked about this morning. It's you can use it for training and you can use it for inference. It's all on the same architecture and it's going to work. Like I talked to an AI startup CEO a few months ago. He tried AWS Trainium. Oh, it looks a lot cheaper. Total cost of ownership. But then it crashed. There were bugs. The reliability. They couldn't figure out what happened. And they just threw up their hands. I give up. Like no one is going to like. If you have reliability problems, bugs, crashes, the best thing about NVIDIA is all that stuff has been ironed out over the last 10, 15 years. If you have a problem, you can figure it out. Because
it's like giving an F1 driver like a car that is unreliable and saying like, hey, go race, have fun out there, and then it's like, and
the specs
DNF
look awesome,
immediately.
Right? Specs look awesome. It seems great, but then when you actually build your business on it, you put the future of your business onto something. The number one thing, it's not price. It's like it better better work. It better work.
Okay,
and
but
with NVIDIA, it works.
Yeah, but what react to this idea that Dylan Patel was joking about as TPU is a stalking horse. So this idea that Sam Altman is already saving 30% on his NVIDIA purchases effectively because just the threat of going to TPU is enough to get NVIDIA to make an investment or slightly discount in one way or another.
I don't think that's reality, and I don't think that math actually works because I think he's confusing the AMD deal where AMD gave free warrants to OpenAI, right? First of all, the deal's not done.
Sure,
it's a letter of intent.
None of these deals are done. They're not done.
AMD's AMD's done.
Sure.
They signed an agreement where they're giving away a percentage of their company through these free warrants. The NVIDIA deal hasn't been signed yet, and they actually language in the 10Q that it might not happen.
Sure.
But
I saw that.
doesn't OpenAI have to buy AMD chips in order to get the warrants?
Yes.
And so it still could be that they don't actually end up going through with the purchase, and then they wouldn't get.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So the whole let's do a side step here with the circularity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All this stuff, it's like 1 gigawatt at a time. There's milestones on OpenAI. There's milestones on AMD. Technical milestones. They have to achieve certain targets. So all this talk about everyone loves the big number that adds up 5 years of capex.
Love the big number.
A lot. Like that, it could get, the leverage could be up or down depending on how things happen each year of the way. So, it might not be that big number if OpenAI doesn't come out with an amazing model, or AMD isn't able to hit the milestones they set for their next 450 MI chip, right? Mm-hmm. So, don't worry about 5 years. Like, take it 1 year at a time. Right now, demand is off the charts. Mm-hmm. Now, going back to the NVIDIA 30% discount, that's not how equity investments work. If NVIDIA does invest 10 billion up to 100 billion, say that NVIDIA gets ownership of the company. It's not like a freebie, right? You're giving away ownership of your company. So it's not really a discount. You're getting ownership of the company. So I don't really believe in this 30% discount thing, because NVIDIA, Jensen will say they're investing to accelerate OpenAI, and they're looking forward to OpenAI going.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely creative. It's definitely a new structure. I'm just trying to. I would steel man in that, like, if I'm an entrepreneur and somebody comes to me and they're like, I'm going to invest $100 million in your company over a series of milestones, and you're also going to buy something from me. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking some dilution, but realistically, like, this is a way less of a headache. Like, where else was I going to get $100 billion from in OpenAI's case? Like, it's a great source of funding that, yes, it will be diluted, but the whole structure is all diluted all the time because of all the different ownerships.
Except for this kind of sentiment thing that we had the last few weeks. So OpenAI hasn't had any problem in raising money from venture capital.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not like NVIDIA is the only source of funding for OpenAI. Like, everyone wants in. The revenue run rate, it's like 5 billion to 20 billion at the end of this year.
So what was your take on the Code Red? What do you think about the Code Red?
So I saw that you showed the Ashley Vance interview.
Mark Chen.
I thought it was really interesting. Mark Chen was talking about how they kind of focused a little too much on reasoning, and their pre-training muscle wasn't there. Reasoning, we could talk about this later. Reasoning is like the biggest kind of accelerant of AI demand in the past year. So I think it's actually really good. And supposedly Ilya was doing the research for reasoning. Reasoning is awesome, right? But they kind of focused on reasoning the past year with O1 and O3. And now they're like, okay, we have to go back to pre-training. So OpenAI knows that pre-training still works because Gemini 3 had great pre-training results, and Cloud Opus 4.5 did. So now they're going to do the pre-training. So they had their focus on one thing, and now they're going to do the other thing and make their model much better. I do agree that OpenAI has been a little too maybe diluted. Like, they're doing apps. They're doing hardware. They want to compete in AI infrastructure against Microsoft and Oracle. They want to compete in AI chips against NVIDIA. Like, I thought it was really interesting. Like, Satya repeatedly said he wouldn't name who he's talking to, but it's like, I think it's important that we realize this is not a zero-sum game, and this could be a win-win partnership. That was during the Anthropic NVIDIA deal with Microsoft, right? He said that a couple times, and I think the person that he's talking to is Sam Altman, right?
Yeah, makes
like,
sense.
let's NVIDIA and Microsoft made OpenAI as successful. They were the partners. Like, why are you competing with the partners that brought you to the dance, right? Let's go back, focus on making the best AI model in the world, and don't compete with NVIDIA and Microsoft. Maybe 5 years from now, but like, it seems a little aggressive to compete with them right now.
Let's talk about China. There's been a ton of debate over NVIDIA selling chips to China, legacy chips, older chips. we've gone back and forth on it so many times. What's your current thinking about the best policy for NVIDIA exporting chips to China generally?
I think the best thing is to keep it 1 or 2 generations behind the current state of the art.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really nuanced policy that people, everyone's either hawkish or dovish.
Totally.
Whatever. The best policy is to keep, I don't want to use the word that Howard Lutnick used that got China very upset and forced China to tell its companies not to buy H20 chips. But the best policy is to get China still on the NVIDIA stack. So NVIDIA gets $50 billion of revenue per year that can help R&D and fund R&D and make the chips even better. NVIDIA and the US already won, right? Yeah. They had 95% market share. Why are we going to give $50 billion of oxygen to Huawei and all these other Chinese AI chips companies that now Chinese companies that need to buy AI chips are going to buy Chinese AI chips? Why not keep China on the NVIDIA tech stack, 1 or 2 generations behind? Don't give them the best stuff, but maybe 1 generation behind. I think that would be the best compromise for both sides. But I don't know. What do you think?
Where do you place the likelihood that that the Chinese market is opened up again at some point in the next 12 months?
Maybe 50-50. I mean, that sounds like a cop-out. I was much more positive 6 months ago, but this has been just so crazy. First, the Trump administration banned the H20.
Yeah.
Then they didn't ban it. They said it was fine. But then China was like, no, you hurt our feelings. We're not going to let companies buy the H20.
Yep, and then they banned it.
Yeah, and then maybe Trump is going to let NVIDIA sell the H200 or a Chinese-specific version of Blackwell that's kind of hobbled a little bit. Who knows? NVIDIA needs to convince the Trump administration and then China to buy the chips. The worst part of it is China was willing to buy the H20, and it's just all the kind of geopolitics and hurt feelings. That ship has sailed. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I do think the ideal situation is NVIDIA could sell 1 generation behind, make $50 billion a year, and keep the competition from Chinese AI startups out of the way.
Yeah.
And even understanding that at some point in the future, China's buying effectively 0 chips from NVIDIA, but it would be 5-10 years in the future. It's you have to assume that
right now it's
go for it.
The amazing thing is, it's 0%, right? And NVIDIA's revenue accelerated. For the first time in 2 years, NVIDIA's revenue accelerated in this latest quarter. And this is not talked about enough. This is the first quarter that the NVL72 AI server has been available in volume. And then revenue just skyrocketed without China, which is incredible, right? And that's why I'm so bullish over the next few years, because next few quarters, let's say that. Because this product cycle is going to last at least 3-4 quarters. The key tell is the revenue acceleration, first time in 2 years. And the other key tell is that the networking segment for NVIDIA was up 162% year over year. And typically, a lot of these data centers and these neoclouds buy the networking stuff 6 months ahead of time. So the next 6 months from now, the GPU numbers for Blackwell and the NVL72 server is going to be, it's just going to be bonkers. It's going to be off the charts. And people don't talk about these NVL72 AI servers. They're $3 to $4 million, right? They're 72 GPUs, 144 dies, 1.5 tons, 5,000 cables, and the prior version was 8 GPUs. So these AI servers are, I call it the iPhone 3G moment. Do you guys remember the iPhone 3G?
This is big for the Christmas shoppers out there. If you want a gift that's a step up from the NVIDIA Way, I recommend.
Or you want to bundle something.
Picking up an NVL72.
Yeah,
it's only $4 million.
Yeah,
right?
But for the right 12-year-old in your life, or the potentially intern, I think Tyler.
And it won't
wants
fit
one.
under the tree. But it could be fun.
No,
keep it in the
it's
garage.
It's like a Lexus. You put it in the driveway with the bow on top. That's the way it does.
With a fork, you drop the forklift. Come drop it
exactly.
off. Santa's
Here you go. I got you an NVL72. Enjoy.
And then we have the reasoning model thing where exponential compute and like companies are actually seeing like huge Cursor 40% productivity gains. C.H. Robinson 40% shipments. Rocket Mortgage 80% reduction in paperwork cost processing. This is like the next year because of AI reasoning, because of the NVL72. That's why Amazon and Microsoft said every quarter this year they raised their capex, and everyone's like they're going to cut their capex. They're going no, every single quarter they raise their capex. That's because they're seeing the demand, and that's why Amazon and Microsoft are going to double their data center capacity over the next 2 years. I mean that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
In September quarter, more leasing. There are more data centers leased than entirety of 2024. This is like exponential step function up, and people aren't talking about it. They want to talk about TPUs like destroying NVIDIA.
What
like,
about what about some of the kind of demand guarantees that have been happening? Is that a concern at all? Do you think about it much? Is it
not really? I mean, demand guarantees like you're talking about NVIDIA and CoreWeave. It's like when that happens, analysts every quarter are on the conference call like, did you use that, demand guarantee? Like it's not happening yet. Like CoreWeave's 5-year-old GPUs that everyone says are useless are 100% utilized, right? H100, a massive cluster, before it expires, probably a 3-year contract, they got like 95% of the pricing. This is like unheard of. And the reason is there's overwhelming AI demand and there's not enough capacity. Overwhelming AI demand, not enough capacity. And people just are just, they don't care about what's happening in the real market. This is real life facts, evidence, numbers. NVIDIA going from 56% revenue growth to 62% revenue growth on $57 billion with zero China revenue. I mean, these are bonkers numbers. we talk about the stock price being up 10x. Their revenue is up 10x in like 2 years. This is like beyond history. The last 30 years of following technology.
I love how Evan, you're the only person without NVIDIA fatigue. You're just like you're not bullish.
David Goggins of
you're the David Goggins of
I mean
they can't keep running. They can't keep running.
This is not me just like making stuff up. This is like the numbers are there right in front of everyone.
You make good points. You make good points. I like it a lot. We'll have to have you back on the show soon. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make this a regular thing.
Yeah, this
super
is
fun
fantastic.
to have you on finally.
Thanks so much
thanks for
all your reporting
time.
The book is The NVIDIA Way. Get it at wherever books are sold. Get 10 copies. Give it to everyone in your life. Also, give the gift.